Well, butter my biscuit, Dolly here, switchboards at LIT. We got stories backed up. Today's theme is petty revenge, sugar and honey. These folks did not come to play. We got 5 calls queued up, and every single one of them is going to make you say, oh no, they did not. First up, we got a story about a full-on speed war at the airport between a regular person and a grandma who apparently came to compete. I am patching this one straight through to Hank Hill.
Hank Hill speaking.
Hank, honey, I got a story here about a real competitive airport walker situation. You are going to have opinions about this one.
Well, go ahead then, Dolly. I am listening. All right, so this fella, he is at the airport, and he has got maybe 10 minutes to hustle across the entire terminal to catch a connecting flight. Now he is a fast walker, always has been, just a naturally efficient pedestrian. Now that is the kind of thing I respect. In Ireland, a man who walks with purpose is a man who knows where he is going. Dale shuffles. Bill meanders. You do not want to walk behind Bill Dowderiv anywhere. I tell you what. So he passes this older woman and her husband coming off the same flight, no problem, just doing his thing. But dadgum if that woman does not cut right back in front of him. Just slides on over like she owns the terminal carpet. Now hold on just a minute. In my day, if somebody was walking faster than you let 'em pass. That is basic hallway courtesy. Bobby knows that. Bobby learned it in 7th grade, and it stuck. Apparently this woman skipped that lesson entirely. So he picks it up a notch, passes her again, and she cuts him off again. Just swoops right on back in front like it is some kind of sport. So now this fella decides enough is enough, and he just goes full speed ahead, near running. Sweet Lord! I have seen competitive walking at the Heimlich County Fair, but this is a whole different level. That is the kind of dedication I usually only see from a man protecting his lawn from a rogue sprinkler system. He blows past her, gets on the plane first, finds his seat, and by the time she boards, the thing is completely full. She has got to go hunting for a spot to put her luggage way down in the back of the plane like some kind of overhead bin refugee. Ha! That woman made her bed and then had to drag her carry-on 4 rows past it. That is what we call consequences in the great state of Texas. Now listen here. I am not a man who celebrates beating an older woman in a walking race. That ain't how I was raised. But she started it. She made it a competition when there was no need for one. In Ireland, we call that needless escalation, and it is frowned upon at the neighborhood level. Now, if Dale had been in that airport, he would have accused her of being a government spy and hidden behind a Cinnabon. If Boomhauer had been there, nobody would have understood what happened. But this fella, he handled it clean, stayed in his lane, literally, and he won fair and square without saying a single word. That is not petty. That is Texas efficiency. Should have been propane powering those moving walkways. Nobody would have needed to race. That woman did not lose a walking race. She lost a lesson in minding your own business. I tell you what.
Oh, Hank, you always bring the civic duty energy. Sugar. All right. Next story is about a terrible boyfriend who said some terrible things and woke up to some very creative consequences. I am ringing up Gordon Ramsay for this one.
Gordon here. What is it?
Gordon, honey, I have got a 2-part revenge story involving a very bad boyfriend, a jar of Vaseline, and some wax strips. Buckle up, darling.
Right. Go on then. I am already concerned, but go on. So this young woman, fresh out of school, moves in with her boyfriend while he goes to college. She is working 6 days a week, no car, carrying the entire household financially. He is the one getting the education. She is the one funding it. Classic raw deal. That arrangement is already undercooked. You do not let one person do all the seasoning while you sit there expecting a finished plate. That is not a relationship. That is a complimentary breadbasket with ideas above its station. Then one night, this muppet gets drunk and starts saying absolutely horrible things about her family member. She tells him to stop. He keeps going, and then he passes out. And this is where she gets creative. She greases him up with Vaseline in a location I will not specify and places a beer bottle very suggestively nearby for him to find in the morning. Oh, for God's sake, that is a Michelin star level of psychological seasoning right there. She did not raise her voice. She did not break a single dish. She plated the revenge cold and left it on the nightstand. Beautifully executed mise en place. He does not make eye contact with her for an entire week, does not say a word about what he found. Then she catches him cheating, calls family to come get her, 6 hours away, and while he is passed out drunk again, she goes to work with pre-waxed strips, one on the leg, one on the chest, one directly across the eyebrow. Bloody hell, that eyebrow strip is a garnish. That is the parsley on top of a perfectly composed dish of you deserve every bit of this. I have seen sous chefs cry over less precise placement. And then the finishing touch. She takes every lighter, every candle, every match in the flat. She even takes the toaster because he is a heavy smoker and she is not leaving him a single way to light anything. She walks out and that eyebrow, 10 years later, still has not grown back properly. That is not petty revenge. That is a tasting menu. Course 1, psychological confusion. Course 2, physical discomfort. Course 3, nicotine withdrawal with no fire source. Dessert, a permanently asymmetrical face. This woman has more kitchen instinct than half the contestants I have ever put through Hell's Kitchen. You do not waste a good exit. You plate it. You garnish it. You make sure it is beautiful. She left that man without a lighter and without a symmetrical brow. And honestly, both of those things are going to bother him for the rest of his natural life. That is not petty. That is a full prefix revenge menu. And every course was earned. I would give it 3 stars. The only thing raw in that entire story was him. And he deserved to be served rare.
Gordon never disappoints, honey.
All right, next up we have got a workplace chair drama that escalated to full furniture relocation, and I am putting this one through to Uncle Snoop.
Uncle Snoop here, what's cracking?
Snoop, baby, I got a warehouse story for you involving a woman, a chair, and about 500 meters of petty walking distance.
Oh, yeah, I am already feeling this one. Go ahead, Dolly. So there is this warehouse situation, and there is a woman there, we will call her Karen with the C, who has been there so long she genuinely believes she runs the whole operation. She has claimed one of the few chairs in the building as her personal throne, even though the overnight shift keeps moving it around. Nah. You do not claim community property, 'cause a chair in a warehouse belongs to the warehouse. You are a guest in that chair's life. Karen forgot the chair was on loan. Now, a person comes in 50 minutes early one day just to have a little breakfast moment, sits down in the chair because it is in their area. And Karen shows up 40 minutes before the shift even starts and starts arguing, trying to intimidate them out of the seat mid-pastry. Mid-pastry, nephew. That is a negative energy deposit right there. You do not disrupt somebody's breakfast frequency. That is sacred time. Martha Stewart taught me that, and Martha has been through things, so she knows. So the mood is ruined, and our person does not bring her the chair when they are done. Just shoves it out of the area and makes Karen come collect it. But the next day they come in even earlier, pick up that chair, ride it up to the second floor in the lift, and walk it 500 meters to the farthest corner of the building. 500 meters on foot for a chair. That is not petty. That is committed. That is a pilgrimage. 'Cause I respect the dedication to the craft. Karen comes in, the chair is gone, she spends 40 minutes looking for it, checks stairwells, checks neighboring areas, never finds it. She cannot prove a thing. And our person is sitting in a completely different chair like nothing happened. That chair is probably still up there, living its best life. That chair found freedom, nephew. It got relocated to a better frequency. See, here's the thing about Karen energy. When you walk into a shared space and start throwing your weight around over something that was never truly yours, you are sending a certain vibration out into the universe. And the universe is a very attentive bookkeeper. It writes everything down. Every chair you claimed that was not yours, every pastry you interrupted, every person you tried to intimidate before their shift even started, all of that goes in the ledger. Karma does not rush, but it always shows up. And in this case, it showed up as a 500-meter walk that Karen still has not recovered from because she is lazy. The universe knew exactly how to charge her. Not with drama, not with the confrontation, with cardio. That is elegant. That is the LBC way of handling business without handling business. The chair is free, cuz. Let it go. You already know.
Snoop always finds the zen, doesn't he, darling? All right, now this next one is about somebody who sabotaged a whole stampede of fare cheaters on a commuter train, and honey, it is clever. I am dialing up Chuck Norris.
Norris.
Chuck Sugar, I have got a story about a commuter train, a crowd of fare jumpers, and one very calm person with a plan. You are going to love this one.
Go ahead. City has a commuter rail line. Bicar fills up every day with delivery riders who never pay. They are loud. They shove people. They have a system where they jump out at stations, tap their cards real fast, and hop back on. It is a practice maneuver. Chuck Norris does not ride commuter rail. Trains ride Chuck Norris, and they pay full fare. One day a fare inspector boards. Dozens of these riders panic and stampede toward the door, shoving other passengers out of the way. Their plan is to bolt out, tap cards, Board again with clean tickets. Simple enough scheme, except the person they shove is not interested in being shoved. Chuck Norris has never been shoved. Gravity tried once. It apologized. This person knows two things. 1. The closer fare reader has been broken for days. 2. The working reader has an override mode that takes it offline until someone works through a menu. 2 button presses. Most people have never seen it. The person walks to that reader and puts it into override right as the stampede arrives. Chuck Norris does not disable card readers. Card readers disable themselves out of respect when he passes by. The crowd jams around the machine, yelling, shoving each other, jamming cards that do not register. Nobody reads the screen. Nobody figures it out. The train starts to leave. Most of them scramble back on and run directly into the fare inspector. 7 or 8 do not make it back at all. The train pulls away. Their bikes are on it. Chuck Norris does not miss trains. Trains reroute themselves to avoid disappointing him. Those 7 men were not so fortunate. Chuck Norris does not need to raise his voice to win a fight. Neither did this person. 2 button presses. That is all it took. Chuck Norris once ended an international conflict with 1 button press, but it was on a vending machine, and the snack was very overdue. The principle stands. This person used knowledge as a weapon, which is the second best weapon after a roundhouse kick. They did not flinch. They did not argue. They walked to the reader while everyone else was running, and they were calm. Chuck Norris respects calm. Chaos is loud and loses. Calm is quiet and wins. Every time. Correct call. The bikes are still on that train. This is a good outcome. Chuck Norris does not approve of fare evasion. The fare evaders also did not approve of what happened next. Both statements are true.
Chuck Norris, a man of few words and maximum impact. All right, honey, we got one more, and it is about a man at a gas station who got boxed in on purpose and responded with the most peaceful, thorough, and absolutely devastating car window cleaning you have ever heard of. I am getting Dom Toretto on the line.
Yeah, Dolly.
Dom, darling, last story of the day. Man at a gas station, somebody parks to trap him in on purpose, and he responds with a squeegee. I know you are going to have thoughts.
A squeegee. All right, I am listening. Hot day. Guy pulls into a gas station. Empty pumps everywhere. He parks under the shade at the second pump because it is hot, and he respects his car enough to keep it cool. That is a man who thinks about his vehicle. That means something. A man who parks in the shade knows the value of what he is protecting. You do not leave family in the sun. Same goes for a good car. Then another car pulls in and takes the pump directly in front of him, facing him, parked close enough that he is going to have to maneuver hard to get out. And the driver gives him a smirk, a satisfied smirk, like he won something. The girlfriend in the passenger seat cringed. Even she knew that smirk. That is not the face of a man who has family waiting on him. That is the face of a man running on empty, trying to feel full by making someone else uncomfortable. That ain't strength. That is a blown gasket pretending to be an engine. So our guy finishes fueling, and then he gets the squeegee, front windshield, back windshield, every passenger window, side mirrors, the sunroof, methodical, thorough, no words, no confrontation. So just a man who takes care of his car doing exactly what a man who takes care of his car does. That is the code. You do not have to say a word when your actions already said everything. And the girlfriend starts laughing. Real laughter, uncontrollable, cannot hold it in. And that is the moment. The smirking man has to sit there, his own passenger laughing at him, watching this person clean every inch of their car with total peace. He zooms off after some very awkward maneuvering. Our guy was ready to do the license plates next. License plates. That man was going to detail the license plates. I respect that more than I can say. See, some people get cut off and they rage, they honk, they follow. They make it a whole thing. That is not family. Family is patient. Family stays in its lane and handles business quietly. This man did not chase. He did not threaten. He washed his windows. He took care of what was his. and he let the other man's own choices embarrass him. The girlfriend's laughter was not a weapon our guy brought. It was a consequence that was always going to happen. You cannot smirk your way through life and not eventually have someone laugh at you instead of with you. This man drove with patience, and patience, at the end of the day, is the fastest way home. It is not about the squeegee, it is about who is holding the squeegee.
Well, Sugar, that is a wrap on today's petty revenge stories, and I do not know about you, but Dolly is feeling very inspired to clean some car windows. Huge thank you to Hank, Gordon, Snoop, Chuck, and Dom for taking my calls today, you beautiful people. Now, y'all be sure to comment who Dolly should bring on next. 100 votes, and they get the job, hun.